Now, welcome back. I'm still here with Shilla Peruth, and we have been discussing volunteering and giving back. And we still have a lot to discuss. Now, my next question would be, how has your outlook on life changed, especially with the volunteering and giving back that you have done so far?
How has my outlook on life changed, First and foremost, now I dream bigger. I have realized that the dreams I had like 2 years ago, it is small. Because as you get out of the community and start to do this work, you actually start to realize that the need is bigger than the materials, for example, you are giving them.
Yeah.
You start to realize, for example, that, okay, now maybe I need to invest in actually educating the people so that they can be able to actually do this work in their community. We don't have to come and do it ourselves, So my dream has actually changed. I'm dreaming bigger because now I need to do more.
That's true.
Yeah, so my outlook on life has really, really changed, Even when I meet people, literally I'm telling everyone, what are you doing in your society?
Yeah.
So my conversation, those days my conversation of, so how are you dealing with your home? Is there anything new? That was my conversation. Is there anything new you've done? How about your cousins? Are they all going to school? Why don't you pick one cousin and take them to school? So that, okay, if you can't take them to university, let them do a course like tailoring, like being a mechanic. Let them do something so that we expand the base of people that can actually help in the community. Now the conversation is different. Who are you helping in the village?
Yes.
What about the town?
Yes.
Sooner or later it's going to be the city. Before we know it, it's going to be Uganda.
Yeah.
And then the nations after.
That's true. Now, I don't know, have you tried in volunteering and giving back? Are there people that you have maybe tried to work with to see that maybe a certain thing is actually established or accomplished? And if yes, what barriers have you faced? Because I know also dealing with people is not easy. Dealing with people is not easy, especially maybe some who might not even be willing to give, but they're the ones who can help you to get there. So how have you overcome that?
Are you talking about the ones who, for example, provide the funding to support
Yes,
you?
in any way they can help, yes. Because I know there are also barriers.
Okay, yeah, the barriers are many, but I think what I have seen is very common nowadays, especially when it comes to funding. I have noticed that it seems as though the people, a certain portion of people, I can't say all because we are here, to support the people, but a certain portion of the people do not believe in our values. They don't believe in our values. They believe in certain things we don't believe in,
That's true.
And so they want to give you money and tell you, but without money, do this and this and this,
Yeah.
And they actually have a lot of money, And so for me, it's a no. If we don't share our values, I don't need your money necessarily. I don't need your money, especially if it's going to take me away from my faith. Especially if it's driving me away from my faith. So we have faced those kinds of challenges where you meet a financer, for example, and whatever they are giving you is just pushing you away from your faith. So sometimes you find that now you say, I need to work with whatever I have, but again, I need to dream first. I need to find that. That's why I'm telling you that my outlook on life changed. Now I have to work hard. I cannot just stick to saying that I'm professionally a valuer. Now I'm thinking I need to do farming, I recently told one of the young people that I have a farm that I've started called Para Farms. And one of the things is so that we are able to expand the financial base. We're able to expand the financial base. If we say that we want to support a disaster-struck place, we have the food.
Yes.
We are not just begging from place to place. So that's one of the major challenges. But two, you also have, those are the ones that provide funding. Now there are these ones that you're working with to do the real work.
Yeah.
Some people are very lazy. Very lazy, and then it starts to make you realize that I need to do capacity building, because if you do not build their capacity, they're never going to think like you. Remember that when you're going to impact the world, you can't do it alone. You need a team of people, because I am here right now in Kampala, but we need to be impacting Soroti. We need to be impacting Gulu. The people of Tororo need to be blessed. The people in Barara, in Intungamo, they need to be blessed. Am I in those places? No. But if we are able to build capacity, then you find that you are here, but your voice is being heard in every what?
Yeah.
In every region. Yeah, so I have noticed that you need to be able, especially us as Christians, we need to challenge ourselves to grow financially. we need to challenge ourselves. And I was actually thinking about this topic, and I'm thinking, if we do not learn to volunteer, especially let's say in these community services, we will never know the need of where we need to grow financially. If you do not learn to give back, my mentor, Prophet Brian Kajezi of Numawad Ministries, when we started our church in Chanja, he usually used to, now Christmas time was the time we used to do a program called Feed 1,000.
Yeah.
So every Christmas time, the people in Chanja around us knew. In fact, they used to call us the church that gives people Christmas. Because, so he would do that. And so before you knew, the community didn't know us just by the name Numawad Church.
Yeah.
But they knew us because of the thing we were doing. So sooner or later, the church was challenged. Before we knew it, we realized they have children that need to go to school. Now we started a program to take the children to what? To school. So as Christians especially, we need to challenge ourselves. We talk about volunteer. You need to dream big because there's a lot of need. And if we do not wake up from a young age, it doesn't matter whether you're 2 years or 3 years. I am talking about that because my niece and nephew, one is going to P2, one is going to P4. But recently we were celebrating their late father. Their father passed on about a year ago. And they said, oh, Auntie Shilla, we want to do some charity. And I was like, how do you know charity? How do you know charity? You guys are only 4 years of age. He said, no. When Daddy was alive, when we would go with him for holidays, he would make us pack some sugar. Those are the parents we are talking about today. That the children get to know this thing from a young age. That even by the time they are getting into P7, they know that my pocket money is not for me to eat. I need to think about an extra person. So I had to work hard, make sure I buy the books and the pens I wanted to give to the little children, and they did that. So the barriers are there. They're financial, they are capacity building, but again, it is our role. If you are already in that capacity, where you're giving back, where you are doing some volunteering, get an extra hand. Get 1 or 2 people, because the day when you are not there, we need that system to continue, Yeah, so.
Now, which also you've mentioned children, your niece and nephew.
Yeah, sure.
So it brings me to my next question. How do you think actually giving back and volunteering impacts the young children of today?
All right. I want to make it clear that we don't only volunteer when it comes to the community, because I am thinking someone is thinking like that. We also volunteer in organizations where you go and work for a farm, like where I work, and they're not paying you. But you're learning a skill. So you're volunteering, they are benefiting, but you're also benefiting. But you're not going to volunteer forever. I know even organizations like UN, that's how they employ people. People register in, they volunteer where they're not being paid, but sooner or later they take you in already. So the young people, I don't want you to think that volunteering is only what? Charity-wise. No. It's you even when you're going to work, like if you've just finished university, surely be happy to volunteer. Please go and what? Work, get some skill. My late brother used to tell me that, Shilla, go and work. When you have the skill, no one is going to take it away from you. And when you have the skill, your value has heightened. So the next place you're going to get to go and ask for a job from, I mean, you have the skill. Now you can talk the money that you want. But before that, go and volunteer. Young people out there, I know you get out of university and you're like, I want 3 million. Because you want to buy an iPhone. Change your lifestyle. Go and get some work to do. You asked a question, how does volunteering, giving back help the young? Now, we have organizations that focus on the young. We also have individuals that focus on the young people. So those ones, they benefit directly. We have, I have one of our church members. She's, I think, Miss Uganda Africa Unite. She's a church member. She does with the young people, and she's doing their school. She's paying for their school, giving them materials that they need. So that's one way they can benefit. So we have people like those that are paying for their school fees, so they're already benefiting. But also the young people can benefit indirectly. If I am doing a volunteering program where I'm saying I'm offering pro bono mentoring services, I am going to mentor maybe your mom. I'm mentoring a child that someone is going to grow tomorrow and give birth to children. If we have shaped their thinking right, their children will benefit. But even if it is an elder in the village, now some of them will learn by us doing. When they learn by us doing, they're able to change. They'll be like, hey, so maybe I've grown, I'm old, I cannot do the thing these people are doing. But because I've seen so-and-so's daughter doing, why don't my children associate with so-and-so's what? children, and then they actually become so. I actually have an example. In my village, I have a lady. They have savings groups, you know. So one of the savings groups actually happens at our home, so, and so one of the ladies there, the son finished university, and when he came to camp, I said, "Oh, my mother gave me your number and said you are so and so, and told me to mentor him." I was very excited. He came, started working, and then he had the young people syndrome. But they're paying me little money. I said, work. Eh? And recently now he got a job with one of the banks. Very excited, you know. And I was asking him, so last year you were crying. Now you have a job. But at least you got what? I was excited to mentor him. Because I knew if he did not have someone to direct him, you know where I was going to end? His friends were going to tell him, just leave that workplace. Leave, you go and look. And then he would be on the street for another 5 years because of that mindset. So the young people can benefit directly by people who are supporting them to go to school. Maybe those that have been able to join mentorship programs like those that Flourishing Hub has, you know, or not Flourishing Hub, Young and Flourishing. There is Young and Flourishing, an organization by Mr. Sabiti Hubbard that actually does mentoring people, you know. So there are those that do directly, but others indirectly. Yeah.
I'm looking for a mentor.
You're looking for a mentor?
Can you be my mentor?
Please, we can, you know, off the set, we could have some coffee.
Okay, we'll see about that.
Yeah, sure.
But yes, you have spoken about the things that you have done so far. Are you looking towards any volunteering opportunities in the future? What are you looking at? What is exciting you? What is, prompting you to maybe start something? If you were given an opportunity, what volunteering opportunity would you want to give to the people?
I'm very passionate about leadership. Very, very passionate about leadership, you know. In fact, 2 months ago, I was contacting a certain women organization because I wanted to be part of them and volunteer. I'm not just only pro-women, no, but also because I have seen that sometimes because people have not had that chance to be trained well, and I am here, you know, for as long as I'm still alive, I am going to provide service till my deathbed, you know. So if given opportunity, where would I want to volunteer in that direction? Leadership. Because I do believe, you know, that whether you are a lady, whether you are a gentleman, whether you are young, you have a certain leadership responsibility at your age. You know, I could talk about my niece and nephew. The niece is older. She has responsibility over the brother. If they go to school, just to make sure the brother is safe, you know. So any opportunity, that is the sector I'm looking for. And if you're out there, and you have that opportunity, I'm going to leave the studios with my number. You please call me. I am willing to come. Willing all the way. That is the opportunity I'll be looking for.
Okay. So also, how does giving back impact the society and changing it?
All right. Giving back impacts the society. Firstly, it creates love. You know, when we are doing, let's just firstly talk about volunteering. When people come together to work on a community board, there's those people who like fighting each other. But then there's some common cause we are supposed to do together. So someone might be having beef of the neighbor, but on that day when they see them, they're actually working on the community road, they'll be thinking like, oh, so Shilla is actually a good girl. She's not as bad as I was thinking she is. So their mindset starts to change, and we start to break the bonds of hatred. And then people start to love one another. So next time, because the person that they might be having a problem with, this one might be having money, but I got the skill. I am the engineer, you know. I have the skill. So sooner or later I realize we actually need each other, you know. Let's put this history aside and we start to love one another. But society will also benefit in such a way that, for example, if you're going to give, if I come from my village, you know, and I decide to support, say my next give back, I want to dress our football teams in the village, and we are going to have matches so that they can grow in that skill. Because the kids love it. You know, before you know it, their skills are going to grow. They're going to grow. Sooner or later, maybe the district team will choose one from my village and they will prosper, you know. I mean, because if we do not put them to shine, nobody's going to know them. There's no one going to know them. So I want to do that kind of thing. They'll be competitive. Probably I will invite the district education officer, and you know, something, so they can see that my village has some talent. And sooner or later, they'll be on the map. Whether they'll remember me or not, that's not my concern. But have they grown? Yes. Is the village better? Yes. Is their home better? Yes. So the village can also, the society can also benefit in that kind of way. The other way is that the mindset change.
Yeah.
The mindset change for me is the most important at the end of the day. Because if we can change the minds, you imagine of like just 50 youths in the villages. 50 youths.
Yeah.
That they don't have to think that for me to become rich, I have to first go to Kampala.
That's very true.
We are going to go and say, we are going to ask and say, we need, for us in the village, give us land.
Yeah.
We want to grow food. So we have a section of 20 youths growing maize. We have another section growing pumpkins. We have another section growing potatoes.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, we are selling to the village at a cheap price. You know what we are doing? We are able to get some money to educate ourselves. We are able to also supply food.
Yes.
They don't have to go to the town to actually buy it. Mindset change. So at the end of the day, we have a better village.
Exactly.
We are no longer poor.
Exactly.
We are going to school.
Yes.
Oh man, it's a good thing.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. Now, what would you tell a person who wants to volunteer, but they're like, I don't know if I'm able to do that, but they have the passion. They have the passion, but perhaps somehow, somewhere they have doubts that maybe I don't have enough. What can I do? What can you tell that person?
You will never know until you do. You understand?
Yeah.
You will never know you have the ability until you do. That's what I was talking about earlier. Like, you will not know how patient you are until you are in that kind of ruckus. And then you realize, oh, I'm actually patient, you know. So what you need to do, just start. You understand? Otherwise, for some of us, we are going to say you are deceiving. You have no passion.
That's true.
Because everything you're passionate about, you actually run to do. You know, that's why I was saying in the beginning, you don't start big.
Yeah.
You're not going to start to give like big great men of God we have seen in all over the world. Like let's say in our country we have Pastor Robert. In our country we've had, like I talked about, Prophet Brian Kajezi giving in Chanja. We have great men of God that are giving. You know. You're not going to start. So don't start thinking, I need to first go and serve Karamoja. I need to first go and serve Chanja. No, start here. Identify the need. I mean, the Bible told us, the poor shall be amongst. So how do you realize it? I always tell people that if you earn 100,000 of Uganda shillings a month, don't go and look for people whose problem needs 50,000.
Yeah.
Find people whose problem is probably 20,000 that you can part with. You know, I use 20,000 because the Jewish principle of giving usually does a 20% for giving. You know, so look for someone that does what 20,000. You start by giving those ones. Now, when God multiplies you to 500,000, now you can give 100. When God multiplies you to 1 million, now you can your giving also increases as you do what? Yeah. Increase. Yeah. But there is somewhere to start. This Christmas, don't just say I'm going to shop. You know what? This Christmas we are shopping at home. We're gonna have goat roasting. We're gonna have chicken roasting. We're gonna have pork. It's okay. Those things are good. I also like them. Yeah. But challenge yourself. What is your neighbor doing? Let's start like that, you know. What has my neighbor actually had? Challenge yourself, you know. You have somewhere to start and you need to start. Don't say for me I'm afraid. What are you fearing? Huh?
I need a big organization.
No. There's someone who was actually making fun.
Yeah.
And the children of God need to not accept that kind of thing. And they were saying that, they said, can you imagine that the Christians are going for Christmas from Muslims?
Okay.
You know? But you know what? One of the things I learned about Islam, you know, is that they teach their children from a young age.
Yeah.
The pillars, you know? And we need to adopt it. That's why I like this program, if they can bring such topics, that the young people need to learn that growing is not just about you. The more you grow, the more responsible you need to become. And you need to start, for the children of God, in fact, after this show, what you need to do, go and pick your Bible and read all scripture about giving. Understand it by heart, because it should be your motivation. That these things that I'm doing, I'm not just doing them because I had them on the TV. Yes, you had them, but also what my God expects me to actually live these things. So that now your neighbor is not waiting for Christmas from some stranger in Dubai.
That's true.
You are around. You can give a kilo of sugar.
Yeah.
You can give a kilo of rice. You can buy some juice, you know. Or you can, buy the oranges. Let them go and squeeze the juice for themselves. We can do something surely.
So we see that a lot of volunteering and giving is from the ladies,
Oh,
the women.
really?
Most of it.
Really?
If you notice, actually, there's a myth that it's mostly the ladies because we are empathetic by nature. I want you to demystify that myth.
I will demystify it first and
Yes.
foremost because my mentor, Prophet Brian Kajezi, is a man, you know. He's the vision bearer of Nomad Ministries, and so he's the reason, because if he did not ever come to say that we need to give to the community, we would never have given. Do I negate the fact that maybe his wife encouraged him? Maybe. If she did, we are not sure. But he has, at the end of the day, if he doesn't voice it out, we will never do it, you know. We have seen great men of God. Pastor Robert does giving. Even his wife gives, but Pastor Robert also does what? Gives. We have another man of God in this country, Apostle Grace, you know, he gives. We saw when Chitezi happened, he went and actually helped the society. That is Uganda. If I go to the international scene, we have Bishop Oyodepo. If I continue to go, we have Pastor Chris Oyaklome. We have, you know, Prophet Angel happening right now in Zimbabwe and the UK. Even all their wives are giving. But the men are giving. I just told you about my dad. The men are giving.
Yes, yes.
I told you about my late brother.
Yeah.
The men are giving. I told you about my nephew. The men are giving. It's not only what? The ladies. But I know that by nature, women are more what? Empathetic. You know? By the way God created us, he created us as natural. So it's quick, like we are quick to be moved when we see that kind of thing. But it is not true that only women are giving. If you actually checked a lot of organizations, you will find, except that, you know, there is a way society has meant women organizations shout, and so the male gender is suffering because nobody is voicing for them. The boys are giving. They are giving. They are giving.
You know,
Because those women, don't they have husbands? Who is encouraging them? So if the woman is out there, the men are giving support. You know, they might be on the background, but they are giving.
Yeah.
We have seen Joyce Meyer, you know, she's always coming on the scene and telling us how supportive Joe is.
Yeah.
The men are giving.
So, okay, besides that, we see that we are in an era where there's a lot of technology, a lot of digital. Just briefly tell us, how do you think we can actually improve our giving back and giving voluntary services through technology?
All right, it's already happening and has already been happening because people send mobile money. But secondly, because we have people giving through websites, it's already happening. But also, we can volunteer using technology. For example, these days, for those that are in surveying sector like me, we have online platforms, you know, where people can contribute information, you know. So you get a platform and the villagers get to know. Does everybody have a smartphone? Not necessarily, but we can also do USSD. You remember in COVID time, people were actually giving information. So right now, people have not leveraged that part, you know, but we can also use it, you know. So you can use it so that you make sure people can give you information on those online platforms. We can get feedback from that platform. We can also get, you know, any commentary that could be helpful for our volunteering. Because you imagine a disaster has happened. The best way we can get information is the quickest technology.
Yeah.
Oh, the disaster is here. It is happening in this village. This is a location point. Please don't use the usual route. Pass through the western gate. That is how people are using it, to volunteer information and also to be able to help others.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Shilla, I want you to give us your final words and telling the people out there who want to start giving. Yes, just give us your parting shots.
All right. There is no great man that does not have a mentality to give. And that's why we see, because it started with God. But when God wanted to impact the earth, he gave his son. He gave his son. So are you out there aspiring to be great? You need to incorporate giving. Giving back is part of the forms of giving, you know. Volunteering is part of the forms of giving. So you need to start thinking. So are you aspiring to be great? You need to start thinking in that direction so that your influence might be felt. There are people who think they are influencing, but they are only known by their classmates.
Yeah.
You know, nobody knows you. Even your own relatives don't know you because you have never supported anyone. So you're aspiring to be great. you need to doubly think about volunteering. You need to doubly think about giving. Also, I think I want to, in a special way, thank Flourishing Hub for bringing up such topics. These are things that actually establish our people. You know, for a long time, many years ago, we always received help. Remember, if you are receiving, your hand is always down.
Yes.
Your hand is always down. So what we are trying to tell you by this show is that be the one to give, so that you are more advantaged. You know, and we don't want you to stay down. We are waiting for help from Jamaica. We are waiting for help from where? Uganda. Listen to me, young people, listen to me. We can start somewhere and we'll be able to impact our country in a very tremendous way. May God bless you. Thank you.
Well, there you have it from Awori, Shilla, Peruth. She has told you a lot about giving, volunteering, and how important it is. Remember, giving back is something that, of course, we have to do not only during Christmas festive season. No, it has to be an all-round, all year, every day. If you can be able to give, then, I mean, why not? It will impact you in one way or another. Well, we have come to the end of the show. Thank you for staying tuned with us here at Church of Uganda Family TV, and thank you for always watching us. I am Hope Nyereza, and I wish you a blessed afternoon.